Hello, children. Today we would be learning and understanding the final part 4 of the line by line explanation of the wonderful lesson, The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare. So let's begin our lesson from page 103 from the book 16 Tales of Shakespeare. So far, we learnt that Petruchio married Catherine the Shrew and resolved and took it up as a challenge to make her his obedient wife. It wasn't an easy task to tame a strong willed woman like Kate. Petruchio tried to tame his wife in a variety of ways. First, he embarrasses her at their wedding, then, he tires her out during their journey to his home in Verona. He frightens Kate by yelling at the servants. He then tries to tame her with various psychological torments, such as not allowing her to rest and keeping her sleep deprived. He frequently forbids Kate from eating and sleeping until she submits to him. Petruchio disguises his abuse with concern by making excuses for why Kate cannot partake in eating, drinking, or sleeping. Now, he does not allow her to consume mutton because he said that it was burnt. He starves her, and he does not allow her to wear the new dress, stating that it was unworthy of his bride and his expectations. He sends the dress back with the tailor, commanding him to make changes. He tempted her with a new dress and forces her to remain in rags. He segregates Catherine from her family. He continues to isolate her by taking her to his house in the country, a place she has never been before. All this he does in the pretext of being passionate and concerned about her benefit. So, students, we would continue from page 103. Petruchio and Catherine had set out for Catherine's house to visit her father, Baptista, at Padua. Now, we read from the last line of page 102 that Catherine now gave into all the remarks that Petruchio made. If he said it was the moon shining above at noonday, Catherine would agree. So let's read from where we left. Page 103. But sun is not when you say it is not. So this is what Catherine tells her husband. What you will have it named, even so it is, and so it ever shall be for Catherine. So Catherine accepts and subdues herself to her husband, and she says that whatever you say, if you say it is the noon time, then it is noon. If you say it is the sun up above, then it is the sun. But if you say it's the moon during noontime, then I'll accept it, says Catherine. Now then, he suffered her to proceed on her journey. So now he forced her or subjected her to the journey. But further, to try if this yielding humor would last. But he tried, he wanted to test her, saying whether this humor, this yielding humor, meaning her accepting everything as a yes, whatever he said, she accepted as a yes, would last or not. He wanted to test. He addressed an old gentleman they met on the road as if he had been a young woman. So when he saw a very old gentleman moving on the street, he addressed the old man as a young woman, saying to him, "Good morrow, gentle mistress." So Petruchio, seeing an old man, he wanted to test his wife. So what did he address the old man as? A gentle mistress. He addressed the man as a gentle lady and asked Catherine if she had ever beheld a fairer gentlewoman. He asked his wife, Catherine, if she had ever seen, beheld means seen a more fairer or beautiful, gentle lady as this one, praising the red and white of the old man's cheek. And he went on praising the old man's cheeks and comparing his eyes to two bright stars. He also compared his eyes to nice looking bright stars. And again he addressed him, saying, Fair, lovely maid, once more, good day to you. And he addressed the gentleman as good, nice, beautiful lady, and said to his wife, Sweet Kate, embrace her for beauty's sake. So he told his wife, Sweet Kate, nice Kate, that is Catherine, short form for Catherine, Kate, embrace her for beauty's sake. Go and hug her, and because she's very beautiful. The now completely vanquished Catherine quickly adopted her husband's opinion. So now Catherine, as she was completely vanquished, means tired, means exhausted, utterly defeated, and what do we say? Subdued Catherine. She quickly accepted her husband's remark, and then she went and hugged the man and made her speech in like sort to the gentleman, saying to him. So she went and talked to him and said, Young budding virgin, you are fair and fresh and sweet. Whither are you going? So she went and asked the man, old man, and addressed him as her, and said, Young budding upcoming virgin, young budding virgin maid, you are fair, you are beautiful and fresh, you look fresh and sweet. Whither are you going? Where are you going? And where is your dwelling? Where is your house? Happy are the parents of so fair a child, and your parents must be very happy about you because you are very beautiful. Why? How now? Then we move on to the next paragraph. We see here Catherine, and now, where is your dwelling? Happy are the parents. So she's addressing him and talking to him. Then, why? How now? Kate, said Petruchio. Now Petruchio is changing his version. Petruchio is changing his character, and he says, How now? What are you talking about, Kate? I hope you're not mad. And then he only told Catherine to talk to that old man in that manner. But now he's saying, Why, Kate? You are so mad. Why are you behaving like this? This is a man, old and wrinkled, faded and withered, and not a maiden, as you say he is. Why, Catherine? You are talking to this man as if he was a lady. But he is old and wrinkled. He has got faded and withered. He is much faded and he is withered. Look, his face and everything is so withered. So he is not a maiden, as you say. On this, Catherine said, Pardon me, I am sorry. Old gentleman, the sun has so dazzled my eyes that everything I look on seemeth green. So she told the old man, Sorry, sir, excuse me, because the sun has dazzled my eyes, meaning the sun has blurred my eyes and everything looks so green, means I can see everything in a different color. Now I perceive you are a reverend father. Now I can see that you are a respected father. I hope you will pardon me for my sad mistake, and I hope you will excuse me, or you'll forgive me for my regrettable mistake. Do good, old grandsire, said Petruchio, and tell us which way you are traveling. So Petruchio told the old man that, would you tell us, sir, would you tell us where you are traveling to which place you are going to? We shall be glad of your company if you are going our way, and we would be glad if you are accompanying us, if you are going to the same way we are going. The old gentleman replied, Fair sir, And you, my merry mistress, your strange encounter has much amazed me. So he addressed both husband and wife, Petruchio and Catherine, and said that, good sir, you and your happy wife, both of you amaze me, surprise me. My name is Vincentio, and I am going to visit a son of mine who lives at Padua. My name is Vincencio, and I am going to visit my son. Then Petruchio knew the old gentleman to be the father of Lucentio, a young gentleman who was to be married to Baptista's younger daughter Bianca, and he made Vincentio very happy by telling him the rich marriage his son was about to make. So Petruchio understood that this was Vincentio and this was Lucentio's father, who was going to be married to Bianca, Catherine's younger sister. And they all journeyed on pleasantly together till they came to Baptista's house, where there was a large company assembled to celebrate the wedding of Bianca and Lucentio. So they all together went to Baptista's house, where Bianca and Lucentio were supposed to get married. And Baptista, having willingly consented to the marriage of Bianca when he had got Catherine off his hand. So there Baptista had willingly, very happily agreed to the marriage of Bianca, because now Catherine was off his hand. Catherine was already married. So let's move on to the next paragraph. When they entered, Baptista welcomed them to the marriage feast, and there was present also another newly married pair. So Lucentio and Bianca had already married, and Lucentio, Bianca's husband, and Hortensio, the other new married man, could not forbear sly jests. They could not just see this cunning jest, their cunning humor or joke, which seemed to hint at the shrewish disposition of Petruchio's wife. So they were much talking about the shrewish behavior of Catherine, and these fond bridegrooms seemed highly pleased with the mild tempers of the ladies they had chosen, laughing at Petruchio for his less fortunate choice. So they made fun of Petruchio, who had married a woman with a haughty temper, and they were much happy because they had got mild-tempered ladies as their wives. So who were happy with their wives? Lucentio and Hortensio were happy that they had milder wives or softer natured wives. Petruchio took little notice of their jokes till the ladies were retired after dinner, till the ladies were free after dinner, and then he perceived Baptista joining in the laugh against him. So he saw that his father-in-law Baptista also joined in with the jokes that the others were having on his behalf. And when Petruchio affirmed that his wife would prove more obedient than theirs, the father of Catherine said, "Now, in good sadness, son Petruchio, I fear you have got the veriest shrew of all." So the father himself confirmed that I tell you that your wife would prove more. When Petruchio said that my wife is going to prove more obedient than theirs, Catherine's father now said, in good sadness, "Son Petruchio, I fear you have got the veriest shrew of all, that you have got the most troublesome wife of all." "Well," said Petruchio, "I say no, and therefore for assurance that you can see that. So Petruchio says, "I speak the truth. Let us each send for his wife, and he whose wife is most obedient to come at first when she is sent for shall win a wager which we will propose." So Petruchio told them that, "Look, if I have to prove this, let us send for our wives, and whoever comes first, whoever is the most obedient and comes first, they win a bet, and the bet would be as we will propose. To this, the other two husbands willingly consented, for they were quite confident that their gentle wives would prove more obedient than the headstrong Catherine. So, both of the others, that is Lucentio and Hortensio, were very happy to take in the bet by Patricio, and they proposed a wager of 20 crowns, and then they took the bet for 20 crowns, a good amount of money. But Patricio happily said, he would lay as much as that upon his hawk or hound, but 20 times as much upon his wife. So Patricio said he'll put 20 more upon his wife, meaning he'll give more than that, and he's readily betting on his wife. Lucentio and Hortensio raised the wager to 100 crowns, and both the husbands said, no, we are going to bet for 100 crowns instead of 20. And Lucentio first sent his servant to desire Bianca would come to him. So Lucentio sent for his wife, but the servant returned and said, Sir, my mistress sends you word she is busy and cannot come. So the first to deny was Bianca. She denied coming. She said she is busy and she would come later. How, said Patricio, does she say she is busy and cannot come? Is that an answer for a wife? So Patricio said, this is not a good way to behave, and your wife has answered in a rather rude way. Then they laughed at him and said, it would be well if Catherine did not send a worse answer. So they thought that Catherine would be sending a worse answer. So they waited for him to try his turn. And now it was Hortensio's turn to send for his wife. Now it was Hortensio's turn to call for his wife. And he said to his servant, go and entreat my wife to come. Go and request my wife to come. Oh, entreat her, said Patricio. So Patricio heard the word entreat, meaning request. And he said, oh, the servant has to request to call the wife. Nay, then she must entreat my wife to come to me. Oh, entreat her, said Patricio. Nay, then she must come. If you entreat, if you request, then she would certainly come. I am afraid, sir, said Hortensio, your wife will not be entreated. And even if you request your wife will not come. So he said to Patricio. But presently this civil husband looked a little blank when the servant returned without his mistress. But then very soon, this civil husband, this gentle husband, he looked a little blank when the servant returned, saying his mistress is not coming. He said to him, how now? Where is my wife? Sir, said the servant, my mistress says you have come some goodly jest in hand, that you have got some kind of joke, and therefore she will not come. She bids you come to her, and she is calling you there. Worse and worse, said Patricio, and then he sent his servant, saying, Sirrah, go to your mistress and tell her, I command her to come to me. So he told his servant, go and call my wife and tell her that I am commanding her to come to me. The company had scarcely time to think she would not obey this summons when Baptista, all in amaze, exclaimed, now by my holy dame, here comes Catherine. So when they had hardly time to think, and as soon as she was sent for, was called. Summons means she was called when Baptista, the father, in amaze, surprised, exclaimed, said, now by my holy dame is Mother Mary. So he took an oath and said, here comes Catherine. I cannot believe this. She entered, saying meekly to Patricio. She came and said to Patricio, what is your will, sir, that you sent for me? What is it that you desire, sir? Where is your sister and Hortensio's wife? So Patricio said, where is your sister Bianca and Hortensio's wife? Said he. Catherine replied, they sit conferring by the parlor fire. So all of them are sitting near the parlor fire, and they are discussing, talking. Go, fetch them hither, said Petruchio. So Petruchio told her to go and bring them here. Away went Catherine without reply to perform her husband's command, and Catherine immediately went to obey her husband. Here is a wonder, said Lucentio. If you talk of a wonder, this is a real wonder. So it is, said Hortensio. I marvel what it bodes, and I wonder what it carries. What would be the consequence? Marry, peace it bodes, said Petruchio. So Petruchio took Mary here means Mother Mary. It's peace. And she is now, that is what it bodes, meaning it is peace that she is bringing. So nothing else but peace, said Petruchio, and love and quiet life and right supremacy. So it's all about good life and love and right supremacy. And it is the husband's supremacy. So subjugation of his wife. And to be short, everything that is sweet and happy. Catherine's father overjoyed to see this. Catherine's father was very happy to see his daughter behaving in a nice manner. Be short, everything that is sweet and happy. Catherine's father overjoyed to see this reformation in his daughter, to see this change in his daughter. Now fair befall thee, son Petruchio. So he said, let everything be good for you, Petruchio. All the best to you, Petruchio. You have won the wager. You have already won the bet. And I will add another 20,000 crowns to her dowry. And I am going to give you 20,000 more as a dowry if she were another daughter, for she is changed, and if she had never been. So she is another daughter to me. She is one who had never been to me. Nay, said Petruchio, no, I will win the wager better yet, and show more signs of her new-built virtue and obedience. I'll show you more of her goodness. Catherine now entering with the two ladies, he continued, see, there she comes, and bring you your forward wives as prisoners to her womanly persuasion. Look, she brings along with her your disobedient. Forward wife means disobedient wives, haughty, willed wives, the wives who are not listening to you. So here she comes with the self-willed wives as prisoners. She's bringing them along with her womanly persuasion. So with her womanly request or her womanly persuasion, coaxing, forcing them to come. Catherine, that cap of yours does not become you. Off with that bauble. Now again Petruchio is testing her, and then tells Catherine, the cap you are wearing is not at all good for you. Take it off, that bauble. Bauble here means that's a trifle, that's a bad thing. Throw it underfoot. Throw it down under your feet. Catherine instantly took off her cap and threw it down. So she obeyed instantly, immediately. Lord, said Hortensio's wife, may I never have a cause to sigh till I am brought to such a silly pass. So Hortensio's wife said, oh my God, look at what she is obeying. She is obeying to all that silly remark of her husband. And Bianca said, she too said, fie, shame on you. What foolish duty call you this? What foolish kind of thing you are behaving like? So she is telling, on this, she says, the wisdom of your duty, fair Bianca, has cost me 100 crowns since dinner time. So your wisdom, Bianca, so she says on this, Bianca's husband, so she says, I missed that part. So she said that because of your odd situation, Bianca, I have lost already. So her husband says, I have lost already 100 crowns since dinner time. The more fool you, said Bianca, for laying on my duty. So you have become, shame on you. Fie here means shame on you, for you have become, you have behaved like a fool for laying on my duty, for betting on, laying means for betting on my duty, on my what I do. Catherine said, Patricio, I charge you, tell these headstrong women what duty they owe their lords and husband. So Patricio told Catherine, tell these ladies that what is the duty of a wife towards her husband. And to the wonder of all present, the reformed, changed, shrewish lady, headstrong lady, spoke as eloquently in praise of the wife like duty of obedience. So she started talking about the wife's duty, obedience to her husband. And she had, as she had practiced it implicitly in a ready submission to Patricia's will, so she had practiced this completely, obediently, absolutely in submission to Patricia's will, to what Patricio was saying. And Catherine once more became famous in Padua. She was earlier famous as Catherine the Shrew. Now she has become famous for being the most obedient wife in Padua. Not as hereto as Catherine the Shrew. She is no more known as Catherine the Shrew, but as Catherine the most obedient and duteous wife in Padua. So now she is now known as the most obedient and most dutiful wife of Patricio in Padua. So I hope you understood the lesson and you liked the lesson and you liked the wonderful story of Shakespeare, and you were really enjoying all throughout. Thank you.